Say thanks to God for another day where we could come and just interact with you, members of the listening public, for you to keep us up to date with some of the issues, and we share our perspective on the Third Empire here. Good afternoon to the owners and operators of this great radio station, Mr. Neil IWER George himself and his family, and by extension his staff, who spare no effort in making us look good. At most, we are amateur radio personnel. We are professionals in other fields. But we are here to engage you on the Third Empire, which is a show in which we use a cricket analogy to tell story, to analyze life. Taking from C.L.R. James' book Beyond the Boundary, where he compared the mighty game of cricket to life in the Caribbean and in Trinidad. So we use that analogy and we analyze current events, stories around the world. We deal with a plethora of issues affecting you, members of the public, and other members of the society. So on this program, it is not meant to be a red-yellow program, except that we use the analogy of the batting side, which is the government, and the bowling side, which is the opposition. Well, they're both in government, actually. So how you define the government. So that is basically what we do on this show. All views are welcome. We do not discriminate, discourage, but we beg of our listeners to be very, very solution oriented. Give us an idea. Tell us how you feel. You need not tell us all the time what happened in 75, except that you're going to tell us how that will help you craft a solution or make a decision going forward. Apart from that, we find no probative value in rehashing some of the things we already know. We've been watching this game of cricket for a long while, so we understand the similarities and the differences. More so the similarities between both sides, the batting side and the bowling side. And we discuss the differences at times. But our main thrust is discussing issues in the society and dealing on it from a very, very, very surgical perspective, a very layman's perspective, really and truly. And at times we do expect the politics and policies to come into play. We are not afraid of that. But that is not really the thrust of the program. We really want to get into some of the issues, and thus we hope that you will share. You will continue to call in, members of the public, and share the live. If you are watching us on YouTube with other people, who may be on their way home. I can't say you're on the train, except that you're abroad. And if you're in the Middle East, yes, if you're in the Middle East, you may not have the time to listen to us. You're listening to other news. So we want to thank you again for spending this time with us, and we hope you contribute. Give us an idea, give us a solution. You tell us how you feel. Give us your reaction. Good afternoon, Senior Madison.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to all our listeners as usual. And of course, Karma in New York, that is one of our favorite callers and listeners. She's been listening to us from day one.
Right.
So she's on the train all now, I know that for sure.
Yes.
It's our time. Still there. The time difference isn't different at this time.
Yes, the same time at this moment.
Yeah. So she's on the train right now, and I know she's listening to us. Yeah, so as usual, let's bring it on.
Well, we want to start. We're going to deal with several issues all at once today and bring them together because they really have underlying common issues. And we have talked about it before here, but we're going to analyze them from different views. So This article suggests that 2 police officers have been arrested and charged after allegedly kidnapping a motorist and extorting money from him. Police constables, the 2 guys, I don't have to call the name on the media, were charged on Monday with multiple offenses of misbehavior in public office following an investigation by the Professional Standards Bureau. According to the investigators, the matter arose out of a report made on March 16 concerning an incident which allegedly took place 2 days earlier along the Churchill-Roosevelt Highway, Mossica. Police said a motorist was stopped by officers in a marked police vehicle. That is very smart. And after handing over his documents, was told he was driving a stolen vehicle. The man denied the allegation but was allegedly arrested, handcuffed, and placed in the police vehicle. Investigators said that instead of taking the man to the Maloney police station, the officers allegedly drove the man to the Mossica Road where he was unlawfully detained and asked to pay money for his release. So you have a cell somewhere on Mossica Road. I would guess. The officers allegedly demanded $20,000 and insisted on an immediate payment of $10,000. So they're charging you, but you had to pay down on it. The police said that the man was taken to an ATM in Arima, where he withdrew the cash under the direction of the officers. He was allegedly threatened with further consequences if he did not pay the remaining balance. Investigators also allege that the cash was taken from the man's wallet during the incident. The PSB launched an investigation under the supervision of senior officers, including Deputy Commissioner Police Natasha George and Assistant Commissioner Richard Smith. During the investigation, officers carried out a controlled operation which resulted in the arrest of one of the accused. Both officers have been jointly charged with misbehavior in public office. The officers appeared in Arima Magistrates Court on Tuesday. The matter was adjourned. They remain detained. And it gets better. A prison officer is among the latest batch of people who were served with preventive detention orders under the state of emergency. The detention of the prison officer, and I will not call his name, was gazetted yesterday, along with orders for 23 other people, all signed by the minister. According to the order, the gentleman known as Diesel has allegedly been identified as a key facilitator in the coordination of criminal activities between incarcerated individuals and external actors. It is said that he is actively involved in trafficking of prohibited articles into the correctional facility and transmitting instructions and orders from incarcerated persons. The order said that the detainees' activities facilitated the expansion of organized crime, including kidnappings and violent offenses, which exposed the public to significant harm and risk. 2 police officers have also been ordered detained so far under the current. One is attached to the Central Division. He was among 11 people ordered detained and was identified as supplying operational intelligence to organized crime, creating the risk of imminent attacks between rival gangs using high-powered firearms. The other is alleged to have been utilizing his official position to provide access to policing facilities to a member of a gang. It is alleged that while on duty, he tampered with exhibits linked to a Venezuelan gang. It is claimed that he met with a known gang member and held an exchange. Senior Matteson, do we have a problem?
Well, I mean, you see, this is indicative of, the issues that emanates from the police service all the security services that we talk about all the time. And therefore, when you see this and other things happening, especially the situation in St. James, you see why people just don't have confidence in the system and why people just don't have confidence in the police service. Because how could you, driving along the road, stop a man in a marked police vehicle, take him off the route, right? Demand $20,000 from him for not arresting him. And the man know he's not driving a stolen vehicle. And take that man to a bank. Take the money from your wallet. Take the man to a bank. Take $10,000 out. And demand a further 10. Otherwise, there will be consequences. How much sense that making? I mean, what does that say about the police service? What does that say about people who... How do these people get in the police service anyway? How they reach the ranks they reach? And you had to ask that question.
Is defense too low?
Huh?
Is defense too low to get in?
I don't know if you remember the story. There was a story sometime about a man who's trying to get a job at KFC or something like that. And he went for the job. I think they tell me he had 5 O-levels or something. And he said, well, he couldn't get, no, he only had 2 or something. He said he couldn't get into the police service because they say he had a, you know. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's sad, but it had to be, it must be that, I know there's all the psychometric and all that kind of thing now and the background checks and thing, but it's more than that. It have to do with training. It had to do with the kind of people you recruit and how you recruit them. Right? At the bar, you raise a good question, the bar, probably too low. And listen, somebody I was saying it on this program just last week. I don't think I think it was myself and Selvon, I think, where a policeman told me, he said, listen, a good policeman in the Trinidad and Tobago police service is an endangered species. You know? He said because the bad one watching you. And they're watching you because there's always a risk that you might squeal on them. So he said while they are good police officers, the bad ones are always watching you. That says a lot. A policeman said that.
And you're right, because they become a risk to their own peers.
Yeah. The kind of madness that's taking place. I mean, if you read the article with the gentleman parent, the father of the boy that was killed, and the boy and the baby that was killed in St. James. That fella gave information about something. They didn't say what it was. It seemed to be a killing or something. He was shot before, and he died this time.
And this is not the first time we've heard, and a baby was killed.
Yeah. So when we talk, we use these things loosely. We go to New York and we go all about and we see it. When you see something, say something. But nobody not saying nothing in Trinidad. What are you saying anything for? Which is why them fellas could kill you brazen face with no mask and that kind of, because they know nobody ain't saying nothing. Nobody not saying anything. We had to have other things to solve crime, to detect crime, and we had the cameras good, but you had to legislate certain things for you to be able to use that in court. Otherwise, it's total anarchy. What's going on here? If the police doing that, what do you expect for the criminal? And this, by the way, we are not state of emergency. So we have a problem. And I don't know. I really don't know if the government understand what the problem is.
Well, this next article talks about this prison officer.
Mm-hmm. And then it's a network. It's like a whole syndicate, right? Right? It's a network, because if when you reach in prison, you have the prison officers facilitating certain things. How could people who supposed to be safe outside from the guys who inside, how could they feel safe?
Yeah. So
When they could call shit and there are people in the prisons working on their behalf to facilitate certain
more
things.
so now you are a danger if you give information.
Of course, more than a danger. Hush your mouth. If you see something, say nothing. You understand? And if they do you something, it's better you do them back something else than you say something.
Vigilante justice.
Don't let nobody know you do it back. You do them back. I mean, that is not advice I given, but I'm saying it will end up like that, right?
Yeah.
So you protect yourself. Find a way to protect yourself.
But we are on our way to creating a very, very unmanageable society.
But that's what it is. You're seeing that. You're seeing that. If you have no trust in the police service, you have no trust in the places where you need to have trust, right? No amount of talk about why you should trust the police and that kind of thing ain't working. Because every day you're seeing things like these. Every day you're seeing things like these. The court telling you, listen, a man get charged for something, he taking about 10 years before he come to the court to be prosecuted, right? If he was innocent, that's an injustice. And if he was guilty, that's also an injustice too. Because you see the man who he do whatever he did to, that family again no justice. So it's not hard for people to start to think that, listen, if something is done to me, better I find another way to deal with it than the police.
It stands to reason.
It stands to reason.
It's probably even safer.
It's safer.
Right between you and God.
Right between you and God. And that.
So we are sowing the seeds of vigilante and reprisal killings.
We're sowing the seed of anarchy. Anarchy.
Reprisal killings. It better I handle it myself. Don't make no police report.
Forget about that. Police will make it worse for you.
Yeah, it's the surest way to die.
And somebody will say, we advocating that on a radio station. We're not advocating that. We're saying the normal, natural thing that will start happening is that.
No, but this seems to be the message arising from what is being told to us in the newspaper.
Correct.
There's newspaper stories.
Yeah.
Because it also tells you that even if you feel the gentleman get locked up, think again.
Think again. He have enablers inside there.
Think again.
Who will do the work for you through from here inside there.
So then
and that happened a long time, eh?
Yeah.
That happened a long time. I know that happened. That happened a long time.
So then incarceration is synonymous maybe with a vacation.
A vacation, of course, a very expensive one too. $21,000 a month per prisoner.
Because you are still able to operate at a very high level.
As normal. And if you like certain things, you're dropping the soap every day.
For what?
Huh?
For what?
You're dropping the soap. You want to bend down to pick it up.
Okay. So
it's niceness right through.
So we turn to the story with the sleeping dad, the sleeping baby. Investigators said Sutton, let me take it from the top. Forgive me. Days before his first birthday, an 11-month boy was shot dead while he slept next to his father in a bedroom in St. James. His father was also killed. Joseph Sutton, 25. He 25.
And he was shot sometime probably about a
and
month
his
ago.
son were at their Dundonald Hill home around 1 a.m. when the dog began barking. As a relative went to check the disturbance, a gunman approached the house and fired shots through Sutton's bedroom window. hitting both father and baby before he ran away. Relatives notified the police and paramedics transported the father and the child, who were both pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Officers of the Western Division responded. Several spent shells were recovered. Investigators said Sutton had been shot on March 16th and had spent a week in ICU before being discharged. He was a witness in that incident, meaning he saw who shot him and was cooperating with the police.
Maybe the police was cooperating, but who shot him too? You don't know.
While police have not confirmed that this was why Sutton was targeted, no, for shoplifting. Right, let me leave it so. It don't have to be that. Relatives believe he was killed for speaking out. Well, thank God he had relatives. When the Express visited the scene, drops of what appeared to be dried blood could be seen on the track from his home to the roadway. Residents expressed shock over the killing. Sutton's father, Magnus Sutton, told the Express his son may have been alive if he had remained quiet. Boy, like the state of emergency doing nothing. Joseph was shot earlier this month during the SOE. He was a witness to that incident. Get release and charges were pressing, and we think they come back to ensure he stay quiet. Well, he can't give evidence.
Right, and that's what we were just talking about. So, that's that message you're sending to a man like me.
Hush your mouth.
Hush your mouth and fix your business.
Police like to say if you see something, say something. But look at my son. He says something and now he and his son have lost their lives. This is why people stay quiet. Sutton said he could not say if his son had requested police protection. Why should you have to request? Anyhow, following the previous shooting incident. He had just come out of hospital about a week ago. So he was recuperating and then this come and happen.
That's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. So that must be preparing for a birthday. Saturday. Now they're preparing for a funeral.
The 4th of April is his birthday. We had plans for everything. And now all plans have to change. The child now start to walk. Get teeth. Start to eat plenty. We're looking forward to go somewhere and have a good time with him on his birthday. If this didn't happen, he could have all be on the ground there crawling around and playing with everyone at home. Sutton said of his grandchild. He added that the family remains fearful following the attack. I am all afraid right now, but what we gonna do? He asked. Jaden was a joy. Jaden's mother, Leona Allen, spoke with a journalist yesterday at the Forensic Science Center and said she was trying to come to terms with the deaths of her son and her husband. Well, we heard the dogs barking about 1 a.m. Today, and I got up to see what it was, and I went by the window. We just hearing gunshots, so we took cover, she recalled. She remembered her baby's active, cheerful voice. I don't want to go more into the baby because that is so heart-wrenching.
Yeah. But that's the nature of
Sutton and 25-year-old Ronald Amoroso, who also known as Ren, was shot during an altercation at Upper Dundonald Hill, St. James, around 8:30 p.m. That's the previous shooting they're talking about, on March 16th. The idea of the day, by the way. because today's the 1st of April.
Yeah.
Sutton and Amoroso were among a group of men in the area when a dispute broke out and escalated into a fight. During the confrontation, one of the men pulled out a gun and opened fire, hitting both Sutton and Amoroso. The 2 men were taken to hospital and were later discharged. Gun violence affected children, and they have some other stories. So, we can link, if we want, the conduct of the police officers in this matter right, kidnapping a guy in a marked police vehicle. How bright you have to be to do that?
How bright? You had to be bright.
You don't have to be bright.
Well,
Or brave.
No. Well, the thing is, you're asking the wrong question. How bright? You understand that wasn't bright.
Well, that's what we think. Well, apparently.
You understand that wasn't bright. Because you kidnap a man in a marked police vehicle and take 10 to rob him. Right? You can't be bright. How you reach in the police service?
That should disqualify you.
What kind of crime you could solve? You could think?
You can't even commit crime properly.
Eh?
You can't commit crime properly.
The question is, what kind of crime you could solve? What you could do? Yeah, I want to say something, but I am myself. You had to be a moron to do that.
If this were a skit, you should fail. You should, if that was a skit on a little, maybe if it was a test, you should be given a reset.
Yeah, idiot.
A marked police vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
You tell the man he driving a stolen vehicle. Maybe you feel the man can't read.
Yeah, maybe I feel he's stupid like you.
Right. Instead of taking the man to the
station.
station.
You know what's sad about that?
Well,
them fellas might get away, you know. Them fellas might.
No, you making it a deeper. You pushing the knife in deeper.
Them fellas might get away. Them fellas might remain uncharged. They might get released after the SOU. They might remain uncharged for some years, and then that case will go cold, and them fellas will go away. They might be on suspension.
So the gentleman in this case had a brace too.
Well, of course. They might be on suspension for a while, and then next 20 years, you might hear the court dismiss the matter, no evidence.
And that money to get.
And that money to get, and they get back the job as police officers or whatever. That's the nature of things in Trinidad, especially with police. You much of them on charge? How much of them is to get convicted?
Investigators said instead of taking the man to the police station, they drove along Mossica Road, where he was unlawfully detained and asked to pay money for his release. They demanded 20,000. The maths ain't adding up neither. The maths of it is also very funny. And I say that tongue in cheek. They demanded 20,000 and insisted that he pay a down payment.
Now that man must do something, but that man was owing one.
He divorced somebody's wife.
He was owing.
Now he divorced somebody's wife.
He was owing one of them. The man
so they went easy on him.
Yeah.
They was pay a little down payment on the kidnapping.
We carrying it by a machine.
We carrying it by the machine.
Take out that 10 and give
me a 10. And they insisted that he had to pay the balance.
Yeah.
So it's courts.
So my thing with that is that them fellas was either a real imbecile or they probably thought the man was an imbecile too. That real imbecile behavior, boy.
They allegedly threatened him with further consequences. So wait now. At no time they thought this.
I know that I was thinking it was a marked police vehicle driving, you know. This man had to meet you up sometime.
These two guys on TV, comedians, but I'm trying to remember their name. One was not brighter than the other, evidently. It's not Pinky and the Brain. It's not that.
Maybe I call her might help us.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's the three stooges and these two people. So one person missing if it was this. Maybe the prison officer. He was allegedly threatened with further consequences. So, like courts, you have to pay the balance within a specific time after paying your down payment.
Yeah, Gali, I will plan.
And the charge is driving a stolen vehicle. So
Which wasn't stolen.
Yeah. But the penalty for driving a stolen vehicle is $20,000, apparently.
By them. So that was judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
They say, yo, I'm going to save you all this time from going to the court and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, just pay me.
Just pay me.
Cash. We will drop you by the machine.
Yeah. Be saving your bail or kind of thing because you might go on about 150,000 surety bail for this and you know.
So he got a blind.
Yeah, they got a clean deed and
he pay a down payment, he had to pay the rest. And further consequences. So my question is, you know what I'm going to ask, right? What happened to the stolen vehicle? They gave it back?
they probably pack it up. The money tell you what happened. Take your keys and go back for the vehicle, no man.
No, it is something like that.
So
the vehicle.
you might get arrested again for that same stolen vehicle if it was stolen.
So he could get charged twice.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's probably how the police find out. He must get charged again. He must get a hole and he said, but I just paid for that. He probably get charged again. And he said, police officer, I just paid my whole $20,000 for that. I pay my whole bail money, everything for that. You charge me again for that?
These people have firearms, you know.
Yeah, boy.
In my view, there's a
really
high threshold, you know.
The people who really need firearms, they have it. Police have it.
Now, if this were an exam,
and you had a multiple choice, and you, as a police officer, you had to do a crime like this.
Yeah.
What you do it then? You do it on a motorbike? you do it on a marked police vehicle? You do it on an unmarked police vehicle? Or you do it on a regular, or you do it on your own private car? But that change number.
they choose police vehicle.
They choose marked police vehicle.
How can you continue to be a police officer after this?
And then suspension.
Listen, I would not even suspend you. I would just tell you, bring my uniform tomorrow, please. But just bring it. No, listen.
No, but I have some like, listen. A man, you running along a man, you chasing a man. The man put up his hand out, take his hand and give up. And you shoot him up and you're outside still. You're doing their duties. So how different is this?
Listen.
How different is this?
Bring my uniform from a police and look to go and join cadets or some kind of thing.
go by in gym security.
Church brigade. No, not even security. Good for you. This story is telling from so many levels. That gentleman must be confused.
He will be saying, but how stupid could these two men could be, boy?
A crime like this, and this is an all-time low. This is $20,000. That cannot afford you a good lawyer. So the candle here, way more than the funeral. Way more.
I would like to see the lawyer that
take this case.
The police service association, my dad.
Nah, boy. Nah. Oh God, don't tell me the association had to. Something is really wrong. And to be honest, Senior Madison, this looking like a mental issue too. You know?
No. I mean, plenty of them mental inside there, boy. The kind of hours inside them working and thing. Knowing that your wife home and
this might be a mental health issue.
A Benz packer by
if you understand how this crime was carried out, this had to be a movie. You sure this wasn't a scene from some movie?
You know, come to think about it. What's the day today? Oh God,
Today
but today is
the 1st of April.
All Fool's Day, boy. This is a fake article. This had to be a fake article.
No, it's not a fake article. I'm sorry. The Eastern Correctional Rehabilitation Center. They get to go in a correctional center.
I don't believe nothing on this newspapers today.
You feel it's that April the 1st?
This is April. This is a April Fool's Day thing.
No, callers. If you see something, say something. If you see something, say something. Are you going to comply with that, or are you going to press ignore? Comply or ignore? And tell me why. The number to call is 3420081 4665 If you see something, say something. Are you going to comply with that?
Or ignore.
Or ignore it? It's your choice. We all want a safer Trinidad and Tobago. We all want a better quality of life for all. However, there are prevailing circumstances which may or may not influence our answer to that particular question. If you see something, say something. Call us 3420081 4665
Me, if you break my house, I'm not going to report nothing. I do my own surveillance. I'm a camera. I find out who do it, and somebody else visiting you other than the police. Because if I tell the police, I still again back what I lost. The police might take it and it might remain as evidence. I still again it back. So better go send somebody for it.
Okay. Somebody might make a call and say, "Oh, they didn't do a good job, the man coming in the station."
You understand?
Well, I'm told you, boy.
Yeah,
they're getting sloppy.
And I lost my thing,
yeah.
And I get back. So here what? I sending somebody for you. You must know, you mustn't come by me.
If you see something, say something. Give us a call, the Third Empire, 3420081 4665 We have reached an all-time low in this country.
And is that?
This is an all-time low. Because from time to time, I mean, people would say they're human, etc., etc. But
don't waste the police time.
it is so difficult
don't waste the police
for
time.
the good officers to be running down the criminals and running down the friends. You have to watch. You can't even only watch behind your back. You have to watch in front. You have to watch this side. Because there are so many good law-abiding officers who just get up to go to work to do their duty.
Correct. And they gotta be careful what they say, what they do around.
And bullets flying is not the only threat.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta watch the guy who watching them take the report.
Mm-hmm.
Officer so-and-so take that report. Yeah, he live in so-and-so.
The only people who 4 or 5 all in a van, a police vehicle, 2 corrupt and 3 good. And the corrupt one do what they other do.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah. Call us on the Third Empire, 3420081 4665 Let's get your take on it. If you see something, say something. Are you going to comply? 2026, April the 1st. We're being very real. Don't tell me when you was growing up.
Maybe I should. I see something, say something should be for the police alone. If you see a friend doing something, say something.
If you see something, say something. I always hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I always hear that. I see it on the bus, in the
You see
subway.
it in the subway, you see it
I
on
see
the
it
bus,
everywhere. You know,
in the US.
encouraging members of the public to speak up and speak out, because police involved shootings, somehow everybody to see.
In Trinidad, that is a taboo.
Yeah. Extrajudicial killings, there's have plenty people who see. But when it is not the police, it come like we don't see. But there's a reason for that.
Correct.
If you see something, say something. Tell me how you feel about it. Are you going to comply with that mantra, that tagline?
Or you see something, you close your door, you go inside, and you pray for the soul that just lost, that just went.
What are your options today? What are your options in this society? I was reading an article, it was just today, I can't remember where it was, about Selwyn Richardson, who was
he was
killed
killed
in
in
his
the
driveway.
Yeah, somebody up.
Unresolved, to date,
Yeah.
unsolved, to date. To date.
And he was a Minister of National Security.
Correct.
I don't remember, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Very correct. If you see something, say something. Are you going to comply? National pride. Have pride in your country. God bless our nation. Every creed and race. If you see something, say something. Is that a mantra that you feel comfortable in complying with? You know, in giving information. If you see something, say something. The number to call is 342-0081, 466-5391. Those numbers are 342-0081, 466-5391. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and good afternoon to your listeners. This slogan that you're using, Mr. Rolex, I think it needs to be clear if it's a category of persons it applies to, if it's across the board. Because persons would have seen something and said something when the footage of Joshua Samaru being taken out by the police occurred. Persons would have said something, and instead of in the like fashion or like manner what we are accustomed to by hearing a ball-by-ball narrative from the police and their counterparts, instead of that, what we kept hearing was a certain Nancy story from the Commissioner of Police about wait for the investigation, you understand, and making a suggestion as his officers were returning fire from some people who did not comply. But I don't know if they're not in that category. So you're not supposed to say nothing when you see nothing when it relates to them. So I want to know if I could clear up that before we proceed, because seeing something and saying something is one thing, you know. But when you're faced with a reality where if you say something about this category of persons, it will be falling on deaf ears. Or if you say something about this category of persons, you could be putting your life and the life of your family all up in danger. It really it's challenging for people to actually see something and say something if that is the reality.
So, caller, are you going to comply or ignore? Which side you favor? Which side you lean on?
I just only comply when the odds are in my favor, you know, Mr. Rolex. I am not going to comply and remain a sitting duck, you know, because many times that is what they're asking us to do.
Correct.
Comply and complain, but comply to what extent? Joshua had no time to comply right now. I mean, to complain, you know. Joshua have no time to complain. So, it's to what extent do you submit yourself to a system that doesn't appear to work?
Yeah.
comply and complain, but I don't know, comply and then complain. I don't know. Now. I really don't know, Mr. Lux, but it appears that you're just supposed to submit yourself to the will of these individuals and hope for the best. Hope that you would actually be alive to complain afterwards. It is just ridiculous. And they don't want to wear body cams, eh? Make it make sense in 2026. I'll look down, gentlemen.
Thank you, caller. So we're going to a break soon, shortly, and then when we come back, we want to engage you, the rest of the listening audience. If you see something, say something. What say you? Are you going to comply with that mantra? That tagline? It sounds very nice. And you may have the moral rectitude. Tell you do the moral thing. Save the country. Say something. Help a family. Help someone. Help a situation. Give the police assistance. If you see something, say something. But we have enough evidence with this story with Mr. Sutton and many other stories like that, where somehow somebody ends up, it results in death. Somebody dies as a consequence of something they allegedly was privy to. And that is a very, very precarious situation to put any human being in. I would not like to be in that situation at all. I would not like to be placed in that situation. But we do have a problem, which we will discuss also in the next hour, with the bar being too low. And we will discuss, Senior Matheson, is the vetting process a constant process? Do you pass and then they let you out in a while and you do what you want? Is there a probationary period after you pass out?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't know. But clearly, there seems to be no performance management in the police service. And that is a critical element of the management of human resources that says whether there's a need for training or anything else.
So we're going to a break. Join us on the other side of the hour on the Third Empire for more.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause you don't know we wear the crown. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we all have fun, and let we join together because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Big deal.
Midweek, we got you. Sandwich Wednesdays, 2 KFC sandwiches for just $50. Double the crunch, double the flavor, double the value. Why settle? It must be KFC. Order now. Follow KFC Trinidad and Tobago WhatsApp channel for all the deals.
TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations, Wilson Road, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chagonas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
Get ready, this is big. Our first annual Epic Fundraiser Cruise. Sail in the sunset aboard the stunning Embassy yacht at King's Wharf, San Fernando. Easter Sunday, 5th April 2026. Boarding 2:30 p.m. sharp. Sunset vibes, sweet music, pure liming on the water. Tickets only $250. All funds for a great cause. Together we change lives. Quick route, no glass bottle, no big coolers. Casual dress, come as a comfy. Payments can be made by Monday, 30th of March 2026. Tickets still available. Call or WhatsApp 683-8569 or 716-4203 right now. Limited spots, don't sleep. Sail in the sunset, Easter Sunday, Embassy Yacht. Let's go.
Blessings in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You are invited to listen to the Final Hour broadcast heard every Monday
from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning on the Street 919 FM.
Hear my mom, Pastor Helen Garcia, and myself, Pastor Valentine Garcia Jr., preach the Word of God to the elderly, youth, and children. We can be contacted at 629-0113 or 623-8444. The church is located at 26 Prince Street in Port of Spain. We look forward to you joining us. God bless you.
As my life I lay it on the altar, as my life.
Jump into savings at Furniture Plus. Enjoy up to 40% off in-store and online. Find amazing deals on furniture, appliances, mattresses, and more. Plus extra discounts on credit plans and free gifts with select purchases. Save more at Furniture Plus today.
It's a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make it like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
So we were discussing the state of law enforcement vis-a-vis their involvement or complicity in this complex crime problem. And we will discuss certain incidents that involved members of the law enforcement who allegedly were involved in criminal activity of one type or another.
And it sounds like sometimes we kind of picking on law enforcement, but it's not that we're doing.
No.
Right? So people need to know that. It's just that there seems to be a propensity of these kind of thing happening in a small place like Trinidad and Tobago. It tells you that we have a serious problem inside there.
Yeah.
And the management of it might be the problem.
Yes.
Because we're not solving the problem.
No.
And because of the separation of powers issues and all that kind of thing, the politicians may not be able to solve the problem in the way we thinking that they might be able to solve it.
That's true.
So we have a problem with who we have as the people on the commission, who we have as leading the police service.
Yeah.
And we had to do probably a whole revamp of the whole thing, the whole system, and probably put other and we'd like to talk solutions here.
Yes.
Put other state mechanisms, other infrastructure in place to be able to deal with the police, or give even people like West and them more powers to be able to deal with certain things, right?
Yes.
Powers of arrest and all that kind of thing, because clearly they seems to be alone on their own, and the people who in the parliament who's in charge of that certain area seem not to be able to not able to do or understand what they need to do, because they seem to be even fighting the system, or fighting the system with the ability to put something. The police service is not allowed on their own, should not be allowed on their own. And clearly, when you have people who move up the rank with 1 level and 2 levels from short pants days to running the police service, and you call that management or leadership, who train under the same system and who doing the same thing, who in fact encouraging the officers to do certain things by their action, you know, kind of punisher thing like what message is sending to people?
The number to call 342-0081-466-5391. Call me and tell me if you see something, say something. Is that a mantra you prepared to abide by, as promoted by the TTPS, as promoted by other civil society groups? Is that something you really, really
wanna do?
It sounds like the right thing to do. But we have credible evidence to suggest that that too has consequences.
We see it every day. You see what the judges say about certain cases that brought for prosecution, or for want of prosecution. You see it every day. You read it in the papers. Clearly, everybody in any street where there's a ghetto or anything know who the crooked policemen are and what they do. Everybody knows.
But if they see something, they could say something.
Okay, say it now.
Call me at 342-0081-466-5391.
You're going to report crooked police on crooked police.
On the Third Empire, you're complaining to the wrong person.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
You're complaining to the wrong person or the wrong individuals. What is left for the young people? Which tree do they follow?
But let me hear from the public.
So we waited to hear from the pavilion and what you have to say. If you see something, say something.
Solutions too. Tell us what you think.
Yeah, tell us what you think.
But we have a lot of bright people as we listen.
Of course we do. We have a lot of distinguished members of the pavilion who have suggestions that should be taken on board in whatever little way. They are not bereft of ideas, and they have longevity. They've been around a while and observing from their house, their wherever they live, their communities, and they too are affected by this phenomenon of corruption and crime and criminal activity. If you see something, say something. The number to call is 342-0081-466-5391. I am waiting on my distinguished members of the pavilion. I tend to realize that if it's not red, yellow, some people are just not engaged. But this is something that affects everyone. You never know where you might have an encounter with law enforcement that, you may be forced to say something. All witnesses come forward.
Really?
All who saw, please put your hand up. I'll give you my card. Please contact me.
But be careful what you say. People take you out of context, Next thing they come into you, they think you have information.
I don't have any information. I don't even know what the lotto numbers are. And I public information. Good? If you see something, say something. That's what we are told. Do you believe them? Are you willing to comply? Or unfortunately, you are forced to ignore? Tell me what you think. What applies to you? Your life, your home. What do you tell the children? What do you tell the kids? What do you tell the members of the society? What do you tell the young people? Speak up.
What do teachers tell the students?
Yeah, what are you telling your students? Speak up. Do not stay silent. And they say that good men die. Evil something while good men stay silent.
Evil prevails when
Evil
good men do
prevails.
nothing.
But what happens? What happens when you talk?
When good men choose to do nothing, well, we used to think so, but it works for again.
When you talk, you die. When you talk, you die. Or you put yourself or your family at risk. Again, the number to call is 342-0081 466-5391. If you see something, say something. That is what we're told.
Now, we might very well be talking about something here that might just be a hoax, eh? The song ain't too much like a hoax, boy. And then today's damn pool day, eh?
Well, if you thought that was a hoax, what about this issue with the prison officer?
That too might be a hoax, boy.
That
Or
too
should not.
might be a hoax. You think it's too obvious?
The detention of prison officer XYZ was gazetted yesterday, along with orders for 23 other people, all signed off by the Minister of Homeland Security, Roger
Yeah.
Alexander.
He was the coordinator. He was prison officer / coordinator. Criminal activities between incarcerated individuals and external actors. Nice words.
So they said Diesel. Diesel, that was his nickname? Diesel.
His alias.
He was allegedly being identified as a key facilitator in the coordination of criminal activities between incarcerated individuals and external actors. So he was the man, he was the runner.
Actively involved in trafficking of prohibited articles into a correctional facility and transmitting instructions and orders from. So it come like he was working Korea
For the criminals.
and TSCT.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, that whole network going on.
His activities facilitated expansion of organized crime, including kidnappings and violent offenses which expose the public to significant risk and harm. This is somebody in uniform. This is somebody they tell you if you see something, give information to. When you see this gentleman in the road, give him information.
He was getting paid for it.
And if you put that in the context of the killings of some prison officers, and it's a very long time ago. Long time ago.
I had a client who was a prison officer long time and he got killed in Laventille. I think somewhere block 44. Block 22. Time. That was some years ago. But sometimes you wonder, you wonder if
I have a good amount.
when you're inside it, because a prison officer is like an incarcerated individual too.
Yes.
He behind bars for the period of his
The
day,
majority of the day.
The majority of his day. So obviously, you might have connections, you might become affiliated, not affiliated, but you might have a certain kind of affinity.
The boss.
You know, or you might have a certain kind of connection with some people.
Yeah, you have a little, you feel you could relate to them.
Yeah, and you try to help them, and then you get deep into it, and then that's it. I mean, they are only humans.
Yeah.
So you might do certain things to help somebody, not understanding that there's a can of worms you open it that you can't close back. There's a genie you're taking out of that bottle that you can't put back in. Once you start doing that shit. So, I mean, it's really sad that, I mean, the job itself is an occupational hazard.
Yes. And as you rightly said, the risk, the wider risk is to those of your colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
Because a very long time ago, a dear friend said to me, he's involved in security, prison security, so I don't have to say much more, that the issue with the prison officers is the prison officers.
Mm.
Yeah. It is prison officers giving information about other prison officers. It is me giving information and say, hey, my partner Stephen, he live in Mosika, you know. Across the road by the shop in the blue house, he live in. How the criminals know that? They didn't Google it. Officers are creating hazardous conditions for other officers.
Correct. And sometimes you might do it inadvertently.
Yeah.
Or you might do it, you know,
for a fee.
In a talk. Yeah, you might do it for a fee too.
You might do it.
But if you're doing it for a fee, I mean, if a man want to pay to find where an next man living, that could only have some kind of criminal intent attached to it.
And the thing is,
when I say inadvertently, you might have been talking.
or maybe some of them, their own lives under threat. So you're being threatened to give and supply information. If you are not well taken care of by, and that was one of the reasons that they were asked to be armed. Because if you're not well taken care of the state, and I am the big man, or somebody notorious, and I tell you, see that little daughter you have going St. Xavier's? We know. And your son who going UWE prep? We know. Don't feel we know your wife working Republic St. Augustine. We could reach you. That alone, that information alone, but again, how would prisoners get that information? That is not information lying down in the prison, you know. That is only information that could be volunteered by somebody who know you, first to begin, or who know of you. Will puts you under pressure.
And that's unfortunate.
So
I mean, when you analyze the whole thing, you see how volatile, how dangerous that job is in particular.
Hence our
How
recruitment
yeah.
should be A class.
Yeah.
Our vetting.
Not just that too. I mean, it's either you pay these people better salaries to the risk they are exposed to. It's either you fix the system.
Yeah.
Because all we still kind of archaic and in the way we operate.
Very, not
I
kind
mean,
of,
very.
very.
Most prison systems in some of the prison systems, not the federal penitentiary and that kind of thing, but a lot of the prison systems in the US are privatized. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So they are not state-run to the extent that they are in Trinidad.
Yes.
Right. Even that we could explore, because there are a lot of money to be made in systems like that. If you're doing crime, then you should be able to pay to stay. And when I say pay to stay, you work in prison.
Yeah, you must be involved
In
productively.
some
Productively engaged.
And a lot of things could happen out of, like, oh yeah, the blind welfare, they make bags and they make things. You could be making something in there to feed the population.
Yes.
Right? You could be doing so much all inside there. I mean, how much prisoners we have now?
I have no idea the prison population.
Yeah, I think it's plenty.
But I remember passing and seeing them some doing agriculture.
Yeah, but that jokey thing them doing. Them are doing no real agriculture. But put them to do real agriculture. Right? Real, not just agriculture, but build things, to bring down inflation and all that kind of thing. You build
supply the country with something.
Something and supply that at a reasonable cost. You get paid for it too. Right? When you come out, you have something, you learn something, and you have something to come out with too. But
because
explore a system like that.
Because some of you have social commitments.
People on remand, well, you can't treat them that way because, of course, you're not convicted. But people on remand try to have swift trials for people.
Yeah.
Speed up the system so that people, if you arrest a man, have all the evidence, have everything. So you're not wanting a prosecution. Prosecution is almost there when the case called, right? So all these things are things that probably we need to fix. But for whatever reason, the wheels of justice turns very, very slow, and that to a large extent is what causes a lot of the problems we have today with everything, because it's a money-making thing. It's a simple thing like you're going in the prison to visit somebody, you spend some hundreds. Now that visit bag a man might give away that when you reach inside it for other things.
Right.
But it's just amazing if you understand the system and the cyclical nature of the challenges within the system. Talk to a prison officer. Our brother is a prison officer, and it's not really easy.
Yeah,
it's not really easy.
So too is policing. I mean,
police still have it a little better, and I think police work for more than prison officers, if I'm not making a mistake.
Well, I have no idea. But somehow we're not able to compensate people. And we're still wondering if to compensate them. And this is what I always ask you.
That's why
how we arrive at compensating other groups of people.
No, well, that's why I said, you remember yesterday we were having this discussion.
Yeah.
And we were talking about productivity. Right?
Yeah.
Productivity is the answer, you know.
Yeah.
But in state-owned enterprises where there are you're not seeing prisoners as a stock in trade.
Yeah.
Right? So that is like sunk cost. That is like cost that is like recurrent expenditure that you're getting back nothing for.
Yes.
Right? And you're spending more money too. So what maybe we should explore is what I was just saying. Make them fellas productive while inside there. And I'm not talking about people on remand. I'm talking about people who's doing time. Make them productive. And I say really productive. Build something. Produce something that the country need. That we could make back some money. We could at least balance the books. You understand? And that is the problem. We don't think further than we could see in Trinidad and Tobago.
But is that cultural?
What is cultural?
That habit.
Not thinking?
Not seeing.
Because not thinking is cultural in Trinidad. I know that for sure. Not thinking is cultural in Trinidad.
No, not only that.
Sometimes when people thinking, they give extra for thinking in Trinidad. Because many people can't think past the salary. You know, you just going to work. You looking forward to the end of the month or the end of the week. All you can see is your salary. You ain't seeing the purpose why you're there. The mischief you put there to solve. You not seeing that? You go only for pay. You're just trying to fulfill that one little physiological need. Rather than the big picture. And if we are trained, we have a culture in the workplace to understand the need. Why it is I had to watch your back. And why you had to watch my back. And why there's a need for all of us to be operating firing on all our pistons, because it will generate a situation where we can get more money and where the country could be better and where the organization that we're working for could be in a better place to be able to do certain things and we look a certain kind of way, competitive or whatever. And that's because we live in a kind of individualistic kind of society, as opposed to that team environment like in places like Singapore and Korea and China and all that kind of thing. Everything is about working together. Everything is about not individualism, but about understanding that you are important just as I am, and both of us have to work together to, build a society or build this organization. We don't see that in Trinidad and Tobago. Everything is about self. And it's indicative. You listen to the politicians, you see the same thing happen. So the thing is, we had to change our culture, not just our culture generally, but we had to change the way we see work, the way we see organizations, the way we see government, the way we see progress. We have to do something to fix all of that. And it had to be a national venture by the politicians, because the buck stopped with them, in my opinion. They are put in place to guide us. They set the policies, they set the guidelines as to where we go and how we go, with laws and regulations and everything. So clearly, at the end of the day, while sometimes we talk about separation of powers and that kind of thing, we still have to blame the people in charge, because they are the ones in charge. And it boils down to belling the cat. We always have to come back to this. Who will bell the cat? Because at the end of the day, think about how this works. At the end of the day, if the government lead, or get to lead because of the opposition, the whole country will just be in a 5-year mode, you know? Right? We just waiting to put you out of office to bring our next government who will do the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
When really and truly all of us should be working for the longevity of Trinidad and Tobago. So we had to have a different system to plan things out, because at the end of the day, you had to plan it out. I talk about this all the time. Plan it out. Have a national developmental plan. This is where we want to go with everything. This is where we want to go with prisons. This is where we want to go with policing. This is where we want to go with crime. This is where we want to go with manufacturing. This is where we want to go with desalination water for all the time. This is where we want to go with everything, and this is how we will get there. And plan it out. And everybody agree, both opposition and government. So in the event that you have elections and you vote a government out, we know that when you come, you have a track to run on already. Right? And that track was set by you two.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in Trinidad and Tobago. Without that, we have problems. We will always be a revolving door. We always have the problems we have today. We will always be talking about the things we're talking about right now. Nobody thinking. And you know what? They hate thinkers in Trinidad.
But
they don't want people who thinking. But you just want to continue with that system of that revolving system of stupidness. Wasting money and all kinds of
I am not convinced that we want to solve the problem, and that is my issue. From all evidence, it seems that we like to make news and to mull over it. I am not convinced that we want to solve some of these issues. I don't know if you in the public, you are convinced. And if you are, tell me so and tell me why. I am not convinced that they want to solve crime.
Well,
because for me that has to be evidenced on different fronts. And I'm not only talking about SOE, and I'm not even talking about those things, some of those macro things.
The government seems to be doing what they think they could do, given the resources they have won, and given the cooperation that they feel they could get to. Because I know that the premise is that the support wasn't given for that last bill that they was trying to think was a wrong premise. And the premise was that certain elements of the population will be taken advantage of. But I was told that Zoso thing was going to start in Superior and Penal and all them places, because them places are crime migrated them places. That was going to start in them places. But people think to start talking about Lavantil and all that, and they'll come back in office and they'll still have the same problem with Lavantil, and Lavantil will still remain the same way, because they don't really care about that, you know. They didn't really care about Lavantil and thing, you know.
But I am still not convinced. That's just one mere example of something that fall by the wayside.
No.
We have discussed here many micro things that any government could do.
I agree with you.
To help with crime.
But I agree with you, listen.
And those are the things that are absent. I'm not talking about the things that you have to fight with the opposition for. Those things exist. But there are things that you can do if you're thinking, because you bring it up.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying. And I don't know if when they get in, they doesn't see it. I don't know if people just don't have time to think. I don't know if they depend on the technocrats who probably still live in the 60s with the thinking, who went to university and come out with a degree in sociology or something, and they just read a book and they're telling themselves, maybe we should try this, without thinking that this is a different place, that this is a place that requires a different... You have to think through things. So at the end of the day, if you're not thinking collectively, if you're not thinking, you have the problem that we have today.
Are you convinced, members of the public, that we're serious about crime in Trinidad and Tobago? We know it will not be zero. But are you convinced by what you've seen, what you read, what you hear, that we are serious about making a dent even in the crime situation? You hear a lot of plans, you hear a lot of things, you see little roadblocks, those things happen, you know. We see that. But are you convinced? Call me 342-008-146-65391, as we will veer off this topic shortly. But we just wanted going a little deeper on a different tangent. Are you convinced that we are serious? And they say serious like a heart attack. That's how serious we are about reducing or unraveling this crime situation systematically. Are you convinced? Because even to be fair to the police service, this misbehavior in public office, we only see it with law enforcement. What about our political service? What about our public service? And all these people in customs and all these different ministries that enable some of the heists that we hear about. We always hear about police who dishonor, we hear about soldiers, we hear about fire, we hear about, well, not firemen, we hardly hear anything about them.
Maybe
they don't even have fire appliances, to be honest.
You remember this guy, but he was held in America, an old fella, boy. He was a long time TV show. He used to be on Sesame Street and things. He used to say kids do the darnest things. Maybe only hearing about police because police do the stupidest things. I don't know. But clearly, when we look at that...
civil service, white collar crime is a little more sophisticated.
Probably. A little more difficult to detect or to prosecute. Because listen, when sorry, Selvon is not here. I hope he's listening. But Selvon always say, you can't blame a minister when money loss or money spent or bad money. You can't blame a minister for that. So we talk about government corrupt and things. Them not corrupt. You know who corrupt? The people who are corrupt are the people who facilitating it. Because they are the PS and them is the one who are to take the blame for everything.
Nothing happens to them.
But nothing happens. You ain't watching them.
No, well, nothing happens.
You watching the politician.
I
politician immune.
I watch the TV. I watch the Joint Select Committee. Stuff I hear the Ray and the Rata and the Ray and all kind of thing. And they go, good. Nah, boy. Ooh, and I see the TikTok videos. And after that, what?
So all them buildings were rent for millions, probably billions of dollars. All around town, or politicians own and thing. You think anybody getting locked up for that?
Still news.
That old news.
So that's why I asked, where's the evidence that we're serious about it? And callers call me on 342-008-146-65391. In your view, are we serious? And give me the evidence. If you say so, educate me. I do not think that we're serious. I think what we're serious about is making news, selling papers, having conferences. We like workshops.
Eat and drink.
Yeah, meet and greet. You know.
Set a talk shop.
Maybe social dialogue.
And they do like thinking people.
No, they don't like people who question the status quo.
Exactly.
They do not like upsetting, why we doing that? We're doing this for the past 15 years. Let us leave it like that. You know?
If it's not broken, why fix it?
Why fix it? Don't matter how ineffective it has been, we are accustomed doing that. Okay, we do that last year.
That's how we just do it all the time. So I how we know to do it.
So you have to fall in line.
Yeah, you have to fall in line.
So I could imagine the plight of a young recruit.
So you could imagine a man, a critical thinking man, in an agency where everybody thinking like what you just said. You know the kind of dilemma you will be faced with?
The number to call is 342-008-146-65391. In your estimation, in your view, are we serious? We had a young boy caller. I don't hear him again since I've been around.
He probably get a job.
Then maybe steal his phone.
Or something.
He used to call very often.
He probably get hold under the detention or that.
No. He always had a job. He was working.
What people partner for Miami? I don't hear him again either.
Well, remember Samoa not here.
She's not here all the time. And when she here, you don't know when she here.
Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon. I was a bit reluctant to call this afternoon. I think Mr. Madison would know why. But whether it's serious, we better get serious, Because if this thing stay out of control, them take us, they will take you high most. Because my understanding and my experience with police locally and police internationally, I think we're way behind. There's a lot of grounds to cover. And I don't know whether the agencies or the persons responsible for the enforcement of the criminal law, whether they are properly equipped to take charge and to solve the problems that we face with today. In fact, it's there. I just last week, after I spoke with Mr. Matheson, I went to chat GPT and I asked the relevant question. And it's there and about the police service in Trinidad, what they need to do. And I think I got the information. And I heard Mr. Matheson and Mr. Selvon spoke about some plan that they had for Lavent Hill. I don't know if that is the plan, but it made reference to Lavent Hill, and everything well set out. They tell you why the police fail in Lavent Hill, East Dry River. They give you a plan.
That was our plan.
There's your plan.
Yeah, that was the plan.
And they spoke about, the East-West corridor. And they looked at it also from a universal perspective, international perspective. And everything is there. Right? And if it is there, and it is available to you and I, is it not available to the police? Is it not available to the politicians?
Do the police have the capacity to even accept it or even work with it, given what they have and what they have, brain capacity, physical capacity, capital assets? Do they have that?
Well, it doesn't look so, but it appears to me that the police is keeping their ways. They are accustomed doing things a particular way, and they're going down with that. That's how we do it over the years. That's how the commissioners dealt with it. And we just go around in circles.
Imagine we pass a home invasion piece of legislation, right? And the one thing that will bring that full circle, if you really want people to be able to protect themselves, and if you really want to have a system where people are afraid to go into people's homes, availability of firearms to citizens who need it. To get a firearm, you still have to pay $60,000 and $70,000.
Mr. Matteson, sometimes you have people come up with the best of plans. But I always say, and that is my experience, you have people who can, dip into theory. But in terms of rolling out a plan, they don't have that. They can't do it. They could talk all about all kind of theory, this and this, that, and when the time comes to implement, they can't implement. That is part of the problem.
That's part of the problem. You know why? Because they went to school, they regurgitate, they read a book not written by read a book written by somebody from some first world country. They remember the things, they regurgitate it at exams, and they come out and they forget everything.
Well, not just that. I think that when you learn, sometimes, if you learn sociology, that people will talk about Marx, talking about Weber, Durkheim, all these things they're telling you. But how do you apply that to the reality?
That is science you're talking about. They're able to do that.
So it's meaningless if you can't apply it to your local or your environment or your surroundings or your country or what is happening within your society. You're wasting time.
Of course.
Some people you may ask them, they talk about Maslow. But how do you apply Maslow's theory to the society that we live in today?
Correct. How do you understand if you don't fulfill the lower needs with people in the workplace, you can't move them to the highest need, self-actualization?
Well, that is what he's saying. But people are not... most people are not trained in that. Like, all they want to tell you, sometimes you do an exam in sociology and they may tell you about you come up with Maslow theory. But again,
no, but it's a natural thing. So the managers, the leaders, whoever, they need to know that. They need to know because it's a natural thing. They need to know why you need to satisfy the lower needs first. Right. And if you don't satisfy, you're not going to get the productivity, you're not going to get none of the things because people will be just fighting up to survive.
Right. And you're going right up to self-actualization and that kind of thing. Right? So the issue here is how do you apply the theory to the reality, to life in itself, everyday life, everyday living. And most people seem unable to do that. So you talk about Marx, but apply Marx theory here.
Durkheim.
And Durkheim, I think he wrote on religion. He told religion, and somebody spoke about crime and all that kind of thing. Marx spoke on crime also. But you apply that. And other people can't. So that's part of the problem. people speak a lot, but in terms of applying they seem to have that challenge, that difficulty. And therefore we all look at one person or two persons and we say that they are the gods with respect to, dealing with social problems, when in fact everybody in this country, because you would have had secondary university education, and not even that, because some people, I heard somebody talking about, I don't think that you have to go to university to make any contribution. Some of the most brilliant ideas I had, people who never saw a secondary school and went to university.
Because they learn to think, and they learn to think from the ground.
Yeah.
From situation. There's some brilliant people out there, who never went to university and things.
Never went. And I learned quite a lot from those people. Never. You believe that they went?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I remember a encounter I had with Dr. Job, the late Dr. Job.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, Mr. Rolex, bright people are the engineers of all the problems in the world,
Correct.
He said, or you check them. Check all the people in the world who are troublemakers around the world. He said Osama bin Laden is a very bright guy, He was a very qualified guy too. He said they sit down and they come up with these ideas of how to hoodwink everybody.
Yeah.
So what we call intelligent, what passes off for intelligence here? I don't know if you heard, Caller, you heard about the police crime we talked about in the beginning?
Yeah, but that is nothing new, That thing is ongoing. That has been so from time immemorial.
But we examined how it was done. And they got an F.
Well, you see...
But in police service.
You see, sometimes when you're not bright,
And a police car with blue flashing light, everyone just make you bright.
When you're not bright in anything. So that is what is happening there. Again, it comes back to you in terms of training, recruitment.
Yeah.
It has to do with discipline. It has to do with, the question of police accountability and that kind. A whole range of issues that confront the police service, not just in Trinidad, but internationally.
Correct.
And
continuous training.
And again, yes, because something I asked sometime when you were there, when you have a police station and you have a sergeant and people come on duty, I ask the question, do we have briefing and debriefing of police officers? When police officers go, let's say, in the station and they pick up the shift, is there a sergeant and inspector who tell them, look, gentlemen...
That's a good question. That's a good question. Maybe if you're a police officer and you're a senior police officer, maybe you could call us and have that discussion with us.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
So there are a lot of things that seem to be missing there. And they could go to this guy. There was an African, I think, police chief in Minnesota with I think it was George Floyd murder.
Right.
And he had responsibility for training and all that. And they told you they took people in with degrees in criminal justice and all these different in criminology and all that. And every 2 years, people were subjected to further training. You have to pass exams and all that kind of thing. Because they talk about the same thing about briefing and debriefing and all that. I don't think that these things go on here. I don't think so.
So you look at policing in first world countries, like places like Norway and that kind of thing, and you see how it's scientific, You don't hear police who fight with people and quarrel with you and that kind of thing, Everything is a smile. Everything is good morning, good evening. How can I help you, assist you? They're there to, we talk about protect and serve in Trinidad. Police is aloof in Trinidad. You don't like bad, but you're aloof because you're carrying a gun and you feel you're a certain kind of powers.
It is also the systems and policies under which you operate.
Correct.
Because if you encounter police in London or even in the US, you get the sense that they have information. And you either going to lie or affirm what they already know.
Exactly.
They're not asking you your name, like in Trinidad, to say, what is your name? My name is Simon John. And you write down Simon John. And this time Simon John died 10 years ago and he mattered throughout. You get to feel that they're operating based on information.
Correct.
They just wanting to see whether you would affirm it or what type of character you are. But they're not guessing. Know how you feel they're guessing.
Why you think they're not guessing?
But that data, that information before them.
Yeah, because they engage the communities.
Yeah.
They get information from the population, from the citizenry, the people in the community, because they engage. That is metropolitan policing, community policing, and that is one of those methods that have been tried, tested, and proven to be effective throughout. It's not something you want to put here. You take it from the sky. The fact remains is that the thing has been implemented, it's well tested, tried, and proven to be successful. I don't know why they don't. People don't know. People don't interact with police here. People, when they see police, they are stand off. Right? The question of trust, confidence. And on the radio hear people say, I ain't going to give police no information. With me, what I don't get police information from? The question of trust, the question of confidence. You don't speak to people, you don't tell people things that you don't know. If I don't know you, what am I going to do? I can't tell, I ain't telling you nothing. And this is the thing. So the police, it once existed in Trinidad. Because as a little boy, I remember a young person, you had everybody knew, and that same modern policing, metropolitan policing, that existed here before in Trinidad.
Mm-hmm.
But they got away, they ran away from that. They lie down in the police station, they all kind of thing.
I think when they bring Iwaski and the next one here, I think that they thought them fellas was mad, or them fellas thought we were mad. Because
it was a dissonance.
Yeah, it was dissonance, cognitive dissonance, right away.
Well, that culture, you see, Gibbs came to a different culture. And I think them fellas, to some extent, were happy to go back where they
I think so
came
too.
from.
I think they were happy to go back. They met a culture shock.
Yes. So I don't know, but they had to take, and I don't want to appear to be on the back of the police commissioner all the time. But the police commissioner, yes, he's in charge, he's responsible for the administration, everything, training, everything. He's the man at the top. But I want to know what the police service commission. I don't hear from them. I don't know. The last time I heard they say they want to get some survey to see how well the police commissioner working. Apart from that, I don't know. How do they get people on that commission? Who are the people? What are the criteria for putting people on that? As far as I'm aware, it is the president. I don't know. I can't understand. Nobody knows. You just take people and put them there. The last time I saw somebody there, a lady there, I knew the lady, yes. But I knew that the lady was not suited for that position. And eventually I was proven right. But the thing about it is that we have to have new approaches. We have to do things differently. We can't continue with the same thing over and over again, even though we would have had massive failures over the years. Because I don't know where we're going to end up.
And that's the problem.
Thank you again.
That's the problem right there. Thank you, caller.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller. So we do have some good members of the pavilion who engage and who share, and we want to thank all callers and encourage the rest of you who have your ideas. You have your ideas, call us. Are you convinced that as a society we are serious? And I mean as a society, are we serious about this crime thing? Are we serious?
We're not.
Or we don't mind once it's beneficial.
And even, I mean, when you travel, sometimes, I don't know if the people in Europe or the people even in the US take the call.
Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon, Umpire Matheson.
Mm-hmm.
And Umpire Roloff. Yeah, man. Interesting topic again. I just came in and I was listening to the Mr. West's contribution in terms of Maslow's physiological needs. And you see, we have to look into all these things when we are analyzing crime. Over the past 9-10 years, we have had people who can't provide food, they can't provide shelter, they can't provide clothing. So how could people self-actualize to be benefit to the society? All that time to the class structure, where you have the proletariat and the bourgeoisie, and inside of the proletariat you have the lumpen proletariat, which is people who criminally aligned or stimulated.
So how you going to work and be productive if all you're working to do is to survive? Right? That's the first thing you have to think about. So compensation is probably, that's the lowest level. People will do, people will have a greater acceptance of methods and different things to provide that kind of productivity if the lower levels are met.
And that's the problem. The lower levels are apparently are not met, right? Because of the particular circumstances that people find themselves in. Because if you check before 73, right, without an oil boom and things were more or less equal in terms of wealth distribution, in terms of the lower class, right? People used to be more happy.
Of course, because more money brought more inflation.
Of course, and that's what I keep telling people. If we go back to this year 1973 with this oil embargo and the wealth we got here in Trinidad and Tobago, everything can change. I go back to the point that you reported that parents used to give their children who could afford $100 to spend on snacks a day.
Exactly. Right? Money was more valuable. You had. I remember a long time when I was small. It had a big 5 cents.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
and that 5 cents used to buy a whole pound of biscuit, you know.
Yeah.
A whole pound of break up piece of call it, you know.
Yeah. I used to buy Paradise Plum as a young child in the 60s, 3 for a cent or something. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweetie for a cent and all kind of thing.
Yeah. So that caused a breakdown, and that is why I say the academics in this land led down this country, and up to now, that is why we cannot find yet to almost do a carbon copy of what Jamaica came up with.
So,
right?
So caller, we're going to a break. Please call back after the break and let's continue to engage.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got bills to pay, and so do we. Let's go pay some bills on the street 919 FM.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The big nation, cause they don't know we were the crown. Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we all have fun, and let we join together because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Midweek, we got you. Sandwich Wednesdays, 2 KFC sandwiches for just $50. Double the crunch, double the flavor, double the value. Why settle? It must be KFC. Order now. Follow KFC Trinidad and Tobago WhatsApp channel for all the deals.
Get ready, this is big. Our first annual epic fundraiser cruise. Sail in the sunset aboard the stunning embassy yacht at King's Wharf, San Fernando. Easter Sunday, 5th April 2026. Boarding 2:30 p.m. sharp. Sunset vibes, sweet music, pure liming on the water. Tickets only $250. All funds for a great cause. Together we change lives. Quick route, no glass bottle, no big coolers. Casual dress, come as it comfy. Payments can be made by Monday 30th 30th of March 2026. Tickets still available. Call or WhatsApp 683-8569 or 716-4203 right now. Limited spots, don't sleep. Sail in the sunset, Easter Sunday, Embassy Yacht. Let's go.
There's some advice when you hear it. You know, one time is good advice. My granny tell me a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea first thing in the morning does wonders for the body. Good and natural ginger tea in its single-size packets is excellent for flavoring your cooking, salads and desserts. But what was news for me is when my granny say a hot cup of good and natural ginger tea helps with nasal congestion and colds, stomach problems, migraine headaches, and it's really good for arthritis in the body. Made from freshly crushed ginger root to get that strong ginger taste and aroma so soothing. Good and natural ginger tea available with or without sugar, so all you need is boiling water to get a cup going. As the old people say, don't take flambeau to see the night, but you could see clear in the day. Good and natural ginger tea. Good advice to start your day right.
Is a whole lot of flavor wrapped up in a twist. Some of them try to rap, but they don't rap like this. With crispy KFC tenders and lettuce and carrots and shredded tortilla embedded, perfect wherever you headed. Dripping with that creamy mayo and that mambo sauce. Let me tell them one more time to get my point across. It's a craveable, crunchable, movable, functional, flavorful meal that your taste buds must endorse. KFC, crunch twist, crunch twist. None of them, they don't make them like this.
Introducing KFC's Crunch Twist, a flavorful wrap with a delicious difference for just $29.95. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, has signed a new law doubling to 10 years maximum prison term for sexual acts committed by same-sex couples. The new law also criminalizes the promotion of homosexuality, which includes any public representation and financial support by individuals or organizations, and provides for 3 to 7 years in prison for those found guilty. The legislation was a campaign promise of the president and prime minister and was approved by parliament last month. UN rights chief has described it as deeply worrying, saying that the anti-LGBT legislation flies in the face of the sacrosanct human rights. The UN official and rights group had urged the president not to sign it into law, but the government dismissed the international criticism, arguing that measures reflected the views of the Senegalese people. It was taken to Parliament after a wave of arrests over alleged same-sex relationships, which were already banned under Senegalese law. In February 12, 12 men, including 2 public figures and a journalist, were arrested and charged with these acts against nature. Campaign human rights group Watch already has recently noted a rise in hostility towards LGBT people, adding that the MPs had twice in 2022 and 2024 unsuccessfully sought to raise jail terms and penalties for against same-sex relationships. The new law was passed by an overwhelming majority of the National Assembly on March the 11th, with 135 MPs voting in favor, none against, and 3 abstaining. I feel they will watch them 3. Several other African countries have also introduced tough new laws against the LGBTQ plus community in recent years. In September last year, Burkina Faso's transitional parliament approved a bill banning homosexual acts, following its neighbor Mali in 2024. In 2023, Uganda voted in some of the world's they voted in some of the world's harshest anti-homosexual legislation, meaning that people engaging in same-sex relationships can be sentenced to death in certain circumstances. Ghana is also planning to reintroduce an anti-homosexual bill that activists says threaten basic human rights, safety, and freedom. We also have a list here, updated lists. Burkina Faso added to that list of countries that have taken a particular stand legislatively against homosexuality. Now, our discussion is not on the morality or immorality of the issue. That is not for me to discuss, and that's not my interest. My interest here is a wider one of human rights, sovereignty, international law. Often enough, we complain that we cannot implement other things because of human rights sanctions. But here we have a clear example of the Senegalese people saying, despite what the UN Human Rights Group may or may not say,
I don't think they are doing anything different from the USA. Trump dropped out from about 100 and I think it's 60 different 160 different conventions that is supported by the UN and a whole lot of other international bodies, because he wanted to do his own thing. Because he see America sovereign, having sovereign right, is not subjugated to any particular organization or person. And it's the same thing with a country. If my culture allows me to do something, and I'm not advocating in any way that we bypass the UN, and because for all intents and purposes, you have the UN, you have the ILO, and you have all that kind of thing. And for my profession in particular, I think we need to adhere to some of those conventions and that kind of thing. Yeah, I wasn't on all the time?
No, it was low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for my own profession, we need to adhere to some of those conventions and that kind of thing. But generally, we have to consider sovereignty and sovereignty. If you look at what Trump would have done in the last year or so, he would have dropped out from about 100 and something international bodies and conventions and that kind of thing to be able to do what he do. Hence the reason why what he and Israel is doing in the Middle East, right, is uncontested, right? They do what they want. So who is to say that my culture, what I see as the preservation of my culture and what I want in my country, I can't do it? And especially when the majority of people say they don't want homosexualism.
Yeah. And that doesn't say that you will not stand counter against all these other groups, but so be it.
Yeah, I mean...
Senegal is saying so be it.
If you look at most of the African countries, you have Burkina Faso, you have a lot of these
Mali,
you have Mozambique, you have most of those countries.
Look, we have them here.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Egypt, Chad, Cameroon, Algeria, Ghana, Guinea, Kenya, Libya, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Morocco, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, most of these countries.
Somebody wants to engage. Good afternoon, caller.
Umpires. Hello?
Yes, go ahead, we're hearing you.
No, I just want to just finish up what I was saying, because this Burkina Faso thing, I don't have much info on their expertise and this, up there in Niger and all these places. We were talking about the so-called wealth that came in the 70s and that caused this tumult in terms of the sociology of Trinidad and Tobago. Because one of the things we forgot here is that this used car sales, we had a gentleman by the name of Boban. The name never came back to me there.
Boban Enterprises.
Yeah, and his yard was massive with used cars. I had every morning workers
They were right opposite Mount Hope Medical Complex on the main road there.
Yeah, Mount Hope Hospital, yes, that's correct. Yeah. And I'm wondering if you workers not going to Hope, they're going there looking for used cars and the place. This year I'm wondering, here there's sort of flags like, suspended. Yeah? So, it's all these things called this transformation into Trinidad. I'm thinking, look at next thing. That was that measurement that was done with the household budgetary survey with Dr. Ralston. All these things to determine a food basket that will be common to people who, who more or less are the lower strata, right? So people could have gotten measurements in terms of dealing with poverty and all this kind of thing, right? So we have all these things. But Maslow was correct as far as Trinidad and Tobago is concerned. A lot of people not self-actualized for all different reasons. Because people can't buy food, they don't have shelter, they don't have clothes, right? You also mentioned sex as one of the higher needs, but I don't want to go in that one too much. Yeah. Sometimes I just some terms, and we still have the problem with the radio in terms of transmission. And the gentleman was trying to remember, I am the reportman at Brother Trev. That's the fellow we call, and remember, I keep hearing saying, but you don't work at all, boy.
Yeah.
They call him Brother Trev, that's what I call him.
Yes.
I asked about him, and nobody seems to know his whereabouts. So I don't know if he found permanent employment now, or maybe, I don't know if he migrated, I don't know what is going on. Well, I hope he's not ill and not in the form of, not a foul with the law, I hope not so. So we hope Brother Trev call and at least we hear his voice. So thanks once again and do your effort, your best effort to get that transmission and problem. And
we spoke to the producer today about it, and he was explaining what happens, how it works and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I guess we had to depend on IWER George and them fellas and them, because it makes no sense doing all of this and people not hearing us.
But that's the problem, because it have equipment, because I know other stations was experiencing transmission problem, but they seek whatever part or whatever equipment from abroad and the bodies and all the stations in Trinidad, all the stations operating perfectly in Trinidad. You don't get bad reception with radio in Trinidad again, any point in Trinidad. Yeah, but say what? But you try your best to come at us and umpire relax, and that is, as I say, that is how it is.
All right, caller. Thanks.
And we're hoping again before I leave that, but Trev calls or somebody who know him call and say, what is an update on him?
Yeah.
Okay, brother, thanks. Yeah.
Take care.
Yeah.
So our discussion veered off into this whole idea about sovereignty and human rights. And the point I was making, which is the point of the discussion really, not the immorality of the issue, is that when you have to govern, when you are elected to govern, I listened to Starmer today, who doubled down that we will not be drawn into this war. No.
You see all of them frightened because you see, this war, I'm glad you go there, because this war was the biggest miscalculation ever made. And I was saying this before, Iran is not Iraq. This is one of the biggest miscalculation a nation. As a matter of fact, this war will bring about the demise of America and unipolarism. No doubt. It had started on some of the things he was doing with tariffs and things, and it will end here. Iran, this war will end America. I could guarantee you that.
Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
But I forced the police because I'm driving for a while and I hear another conversation and it's so interesting. Yeah, you hear me?
Yes, clear.
It's very interesting. I told you, I just calling on this radio station for over 30 years. Right? I used to call him with David Mohammed well, I don't get you again. I just call it Abu Bakr, and I don't get you. But I know all you're going to listen to me. Right? Because I'm not talking about police. That's what I used to work in the Ministry of Education for 10 years. And still gone and joined police, and I was vexed. Because she used to do shows with me when I was young. I did sing Anna when I was young. And I meet up some high-ranking police officers way ahead than she. And they're so spiritually conscious. When you meet a good police, is the highest discipline you can find, Because my dog conscious say like that which he was watching, because I used to tell them that stolen legacy, right? And when you're carrying that emblem, you're supposed to have the highest level of discipline from God as the royal descendants of the root of David. But though, yeah, and because of, because of that, with your education and she may be looking for more money or whatever, and whatever. But though, she has same high level of principle and discipline. She and my son used to help me do shows all about in Trinidad. When we are making this, I didn't used to get support. I used to always boss, right? And when now she's a police, she's gone and she studied law too. She's a lawyer plus a police and all this kind of thing. But too, it's not here and only talking about police. I believe police supposed to have more knowledge about God and the ordinary people. Because they all come from the roots of David, who used to govern justice and human rights and all this kind of thing. And I do that again, because any dog can't come from anywhere. They come from in a hole, they could come from in a ghetto, all kind of big things and crime and all kind of things. They couldn't escalate that. If they come from God, because I work for some big ranking police, I didn't know it. And I used to tell them the same thing. And they liked it so much because they had the fear of God in them and have police like that. But and fear them come from it, where they come from. Just like the government and them, the prime minister and all of them, is where they come from. And I remember it's all kind of ethnic groups running the country, in fact running the world. So what's Donald Trump's attitude? And certain other people, I don't want to say about people, but they according to where they really come from. That's why they so, because my children, one walking in the court, the next one is a police. She just joined this service and don't promote charity because she did take for police commission and she passed everything because she had master is there. She was working in military theater. And you know, she had take that work to tell them to want to be on the street. They keep you on the street short time and they push her on a station. They don't give her promotion. And she passed things for higher, you know. But she say, envy and jealousy, or this, bacchanal, I just listen. But though, I say she stay with that knowledge. I go them up with, I was a 7th Adventist, and I go all the time with this idea, you know, about the time we living in and God and this and that. And I feel people must. But you see that so much different kind of religion. It's a religion ain't really no believe in the revelation of God and His prophecy. When you give them police work, who you feel them going and do? Everybody that want to get rich, that is what happens. And that is spreading up the spread, because when the police doing crime and the normal ghetto man and them, they're getting no work. They take away all the work and all kind of thing, and how you want them to eat. They go commit crime by. I just beg my daughter, don't shoot to kill. If you have to break her foot, don't shoot to kill because you're going to be in danger, the judgment of God, and all these kind of things. You think normal people telling any police that? You have to come from some spiritual background, some roots, right? And that is how the royal dynasty, the root of David, you feel the Almighty God going and give some big heathen to really rule His kingdom, right? Even if there's a police, you have to know truth, you have to have the wisdom, knowledge of God, and you have to be merciful to all these things that is upon the maternity. You have to be merciful and understand. I just wonder how she just conduct it on the road. Because I always want she. And I believe she believes in these kind of things. Right? Me and because I was 6 points that way, I used to be told for years. Yeah. I just wanted that makes she join police because I used to tell she died the royal dynasty, the root of David, and I stolen legacy and all kind of this, that, and the other. But I know all of the what's saying it, but I'm trying to clear quickness and what causing the problem. This whole world has a spiritual problem because it have a million religions, and according to who you give to rule, they will rule according to what they know. And some of them ain't even know nothing. Some of them just mad. I'm telling you that. So you go find a whole set of mad people who just develop from them mad governance. Them who governance. All they're looking for to steal and destroy, looking for is an ancient Babylon practice. That's how they teach we to eat meat when they bring me down here in slavery. That immorality, carrying the biggest demonic energy right now, they're using that as a portal. All these things is what they study on a daily basis. They're using that as a portal to convey. Boy, let me tell you that they put certain kind of women with dogs. And when they bring them in the orgy with normal, with the rest of them, they acquire dog spirit. There are no reason that arrogant brutality or dogs to fight for them. It's just so human beings get. And all you don't know what causing it is spiritual. Oh God, it's Satan get to realize, right, that he teach the adversaries and them how to convey demonic forces, spiritual energy. You know, long I trying to say that on the air and much more, but I don't get much time. And I have to hustle it down. I sold you and I had going on singer. You hear what I said? And all these things I learned from his church, I've seen it happening, everything but revelation, this, that. But sometimes the people you're calling, they have no knowledge what thing, you know. They cut you off before you say back up. They just cut you off, what them, so you have to hustle it down and see. Sometimes I can't even remember all the plan and the see. And all these things will happen, but the immorality towards it. Immorality, fatality in humanity, that's insanity. You understand? And I have song on them things. I must write song on that. Because from church, I realize everything. I can't believe God so real. Everything really happens. You hear what I said? Me and nobody to do shows and things to create culture. And the mistake I make, I work for plenty big high-ranking officers. Like me and they like the idea. And the problem is that they stick to them. Right? Because look, my daughter, them is police now. If I stick with these men and them, in the days when I start to run books, I was working hard, bringing down artists and Judah, right? Plenty of them program directors and they didn't know me, but when I was young, my young and the best and age now. You hear what I'm saying? And I still writing songs and doing this and calling when I get a chance and doing this. Because I realize the earth under demonic forces by demonic forces, and the worst is about this morality when Satan uses to convey the demonic forces in especially African people. Because you know we the hottest people, them little black men and them, they can't use the other state. Right. And you see, instead of using AIDS now, AIDS and Corona and all them, they are a new thing. Because remember, you can't see that immorality, you can't see that it's a new thing they're using right now, and they realize it could kill one another faster than it could kill people from AIDS. AIDS and Corona, them things, black people killing one another more fast, and we don't know it's the immorality with Satan adversary. Satan having adversaries to do this thing. You call them the sons of man. We is the royal dynasty root of the black people. We is really sons of God. And this thing takes place from sin to the sixth place of the Most High. And God makes it.
Caller, the line is beeping. I want to give somebody else a call, all right? Yes, right? We do.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.
Yeah, so we were, I mean, ever so often the calls may go back to the policing issue, which we understand. But we were veering off the point with this whole issue of international law, human rights, and sovereignty. Even when you implement policies in your homeland that might be in contrary. And the context in which I raised this was the death penalty. Because one of our chief arguments is that in implementing the death penalty, we will run afoul of international human rights organizations.
Well, the only impediment that I see, and I think the laws were right in putting that in place, which makes it inhumane. If you could do it, if you could bring a man and prosecute a man within 7 years, 7 years, that's enough time to do that.
So then what's the problem?
Pass through all your hurdles. But the thing is, we aren't able to do that. So then it becomes inhumane.
But then it has more to do with system than human rights law.
No, well,
because if you could do it within the time, it's not humane.
No,
it's not inhumane.
No, it isn't.
So it's the time frame.
It's the time frame. And what I'm saying is...
Justice delayed is justice denied.
Justice delayed is justice denied, they said. And that's what I think the Privy Council is getting at. When they give that judgment. I think that judgment was in the... I can't remember. Somebody who listening might remember that judgment, but that was particular judgment. But yeah, do it within the period, and it would be a problem. The death penalty isn't abolished, but if you hold a man for murder, it means you have evidence to hold him, right? Concentrate on that. Give our officer that. You have so many police who doing nothing. Give our officer that as a case to deal with and put a case together good enough to be able to prosecute the man for that.
Well, these African countries seem to care less about what international human rights organizations think.
It's not that. I mean, well, this is a court, by the way, a court that we ascribe to.
Yeah.
Right? That made that ruling. Yeah. But I'm not seeing you going against that just so.
No.
But I'm talking about...
But you can comply within and still... But that will demand that you fix your system.
Right. But what I'm saying is, when we look at sovereignty, the rights to self-determination,
yes.
Country, we're not talking about breaching the law.
No.
Right?
No.
So, clearly, when we talk about this LGBT issue in Africa and that kind of thing, they have the right to self-determination to make whatever law that works for them, that makes sense, right? And therefore they are saying that if we can call ourselves independent, we can call ourselves sovereign, and we have an external body telling us what to do in situations where we have issues that relate to culture and that kind of thing. You understand? America, Trump tell you that too.
135 MPs voting in favor, none against, 3 abstaining. So it tells me there was a total of 138 MPs eligible to vote in the National Assembly. And 135 out of 138, almost 98%. That's an overwhelming mandate. That's an overwhelming consensus.
That's what you want to see in Trinidad.
I'm not too sure we have had that consensus on anything.
No.
Did we?
The fireworks bill.
It passed like that?
Yeah, it passed like that.
Unanimously?
Unanimously.
Okay.
The fireworks bill passed.
Sorry for fireworks.
Yeah.
So we agreed on fireworks.
We agreed. At least we agreed on something.
On something.
But I can't. Outside of that, I can't remember much more where that happened in Trinidad and Tobago in recent times. But recently, the opposition and the government came together with the fireworks bill.
And there are so many international human rights principles on freedom of association, freedom of all these things that they cite. And Senegal is saying, so what? Not in Senegal.
Well,
you could associate in a different way.
You could tell Russia. You could tell Russia that. And Russia have a permanent space on the UN Security Council, National Security Council. You could tell China that. You could tell America that.
The Mr. Starmer contends that he will not be drawn into the war. And some of these countries make the differentiation between acting offensively and acting defensively.
But at one time I was thinking that Europe would yield to Donald Trump's pressure to go the way of assisting them. But I think Europe is more scared than acting on I think Europe is more scared than acting on principle, one, and two, here what Europe punishing America. You know why? Because Europe really wanted America's support in Ukraine. And America is moving its assets from Ukraine to the Middle East now. Right? So Trump said today, listen, leave the state, leave the street at home. I get out tight. All I want to help open it back. I get out.
He called NATO a paper tiger.
Yeah, I get out, right? So let Iran keep it closed. And the price of oil go up to $200 and all they deal with it.
A paper tiger.
Right? Because the price of oil will go to $200. Listen, you see what's happening in the you see what's happening in
Asia?
Not Asia, in the Houthis.
The rebels?
But the Houthi block the next strait. The burning ships. That's straight. So you suppressing now everything that is in the Middle East. Dubai and all them Arab countries. There's no one.
I posit a different theory for Europe. I do not think joining is in their financial interest.
No, it isn't.
And that for me is one of the salient reasons. Apart from the feeling, and I agree with you, that they felt double crossed by Americans in action.
Well, America double. I just want to be saying for Trinidad, listen, America don't care about nobody. You know. When things get hot, especially Trump dropped. You see what's going on in Cuba? All the hoorah he was making. Russia sent a tanker, oil tanker. Bomb it up now.
No. I don't, with Cuba especially, people living under that embargo for so long, you can't play hardball with them.
But he was playing hardball all the time.
He tried to play hardball. What could be harder than the embargo?
Right.
If you want regime change and you're trying to get on their soft side, how you could deny them power? That don't make sense. So the problem is, however, you have to do the hypocritical thing and allow the Russian oil that is sanctioned. So you have to keep flip-flopping. And
yeah, but Europe don't like that.
Of course the Europe don't like that. And Putin is watching, and
Putin making trillions now.
Somehow he's benefiting from all this chaos.
Of course. He making listen. The biggest winners of the biggest winners of all what's going on, right? I tell you, this is a miscalculation in exorbitant proportions.
No, what?
Right? China and Russia is benefiting.
And you understand why. And I understand why. Because the good gentleman is not a student of geopolitics. He's a student of power. He is a student of power. So, you power your way, you bully this one, you bully that one. But because of the interconnectivity of the world and geopolitics, your actions have equal and opposite reaction.
Exactly. You're going to hurt some of your friends.
And there are unintended consequences.
And because you hurt, listen, I think Iran play a master stroke. Master stroke. They're getting destroyed. They're getting decimated. But at the end of the day...
you could only negotiate with what leverage you have.
Right.
And that's the leverage.
At the end of the day, they were planning for this all the time. They had the missiles deep underground where you can't get. Right? And they have all kinds of finishing. So they use all kind of strategy to decimate the Israelis, Iron Dome, burn out all the interceptors.
Well, they do not even need to destroy the Iron Dome. Remember, they have so many other targets. Once you start to hit American assets and allies, you widen the whole goalpost.
Of course, and that's what
you could actually.
But they did say that what it was going to do if it interfered us. They did say that.
Yeah, the goalpost now a little bigger than Israel. So you don't really have to waste time on trying to decimate them alone, which is a task in itself. However, you have Kuwait, you have Bahrain, you have the UAE, and these other neighbors who you will wake up. Good? Because your neighbor's business is your business. And that is how the world is. So I was listening to Starmer's rant about not being drawn into the war, despite the noise. He called it noise because Trump was saying, you know, NATO is a paper tiger. You know, and maybe we should pull out. He has threatened to pull out of NATO. That only helps one person, Vladimir Putin. That only helps. So all around, whether intentionally or not, Russia is somehow, without lifting a finger.
Yeah, Russia insulated.
Without getting, Russia doesn't even have to give an opinion. Russia can sit.
And by the way, Russia and China helping Iran.
Well, I figure as much.
You figure that?
I figure as much.
Is China global satellite network is being used in Iran? Iran not using GPS?
So it is it is funny to understand how in today's global world, the things that we took for granted, the principles of sovereignty, community, collective responsibility, brotherhood, Bretton Woods, all these concepts have been erased. We're looking at unitary actors. We're looking at bilateral action. No longer no longer states having to depend on blocks and groups.
Right. So we now moving into a multipolar kind of situation. I mean, this is
and
the end of the unipolar, and that benefits
the
Russia.
big powers.
Exactly.
That benefits the people who
been seeking an action for it all the time.
Yeah,
China.
unitary power is something they want.
No. Well,
no, that's what they want because they would be threatened by other forms of power.
No, well, the thing is.
So if world power
what we had
fragments,
before was unipolar.
Yeah.
Right. So we're moving into multipolar, and multipolarism will give China, and to some extent Russia, but China, more access to the world.
Yes.
Right? So that's what America was hoping that wouldn't happen. But with all the action, with all the policies, is what moving the world into a multipolar situation very quickly. So China will now become much more stronger than they are today.
I just found it very interesting that, I mean, with all the intelligence and information is out there, and I'm not a military person of any
You
strength.
mean how America made that mistake?
How did America not?
No, the strength of Iran.
No, not even the strength of Iran. I don't think Iran is of any strength. But Iran is surely strategic. You could be weak, but strategic.
Exactly.
You will cause damage. And they are not about winning. They are about existing.
Yeah, they are about making you lose in terms of money.
I don't even think that. They just want to exist. Once they exist tomorrow, they will dust off as they are accustomed doing.
And Russia and China will build them back.
And come back. And they do have the liquid collateral to do that, which is oil.
Exactly.
And the strait.
All of it.
Yeah, so they will suffer a setback, which I think they planned for. But getting back on our feet, because they have shown, because I was looking at the documentary that says that they have improved their weaponry.
No, they have improved because of Russian and China systems.
They took Russian systems and improved
Modify
on
it, yeah.
and modify it. So it just shows that the world in terms of geopolitics is being carved out much differently. Trinidad and Tobago has to position itself.
I don't know if we understand that.
We have to position ourselves differently.
I was talking last week on this program, and I was here alone, and I was talking about the shitstorm that will be coming soon that we had to prepare for. Now, the price of oil will go up astronomically. More than likely, if this thing continues for next month, price of oil will be about $200, right? But that will earn us windfalls. But everything else will be about $200 in the same magnitude. So it will mean inflation will be a serious and out of control thing. Unless we could buffer that with the windfalls you'll be getting, which will bring us back equal, we're not going to survive it. We're not going to survive it. All them straits closing up. It means things have to reroute and go wrong the Cape of Good Hope and all that kind of thing to reach. And to reach on this side, more fuel, more the price of fuel, more the price of insurance, the price of everything goes up on the sea. It means everything gets astronomically expensive.
Unless we abandon our taste for certain things.
Oh, but unless we abandon our taste, but that's certain things we can't
abandon.
But
that's easier said than done.
Building material and all them things. I mean, things that come from China. China produces almost everything.
Well, Chinese things are not in jeopardy. China is doing business as usual.
Well, of course.
Their things are not in jeopardy. As a matter of fact,
them things get back to the street.
Exactly. And if I understand Chinese economics, they will drop their prices and flood the market. They will drop their prices
and will make it even more competitive for them for Americans to buy the thing.
Exactly. And once it is much more competitive, and they're very good at duplicating and improving. And selling.
China don't duplicate again by a long time. China making things
and net positive. Yeah, but they're not they're not inventors originally. But they will take your product and get a derivative or a byproduct or something that is similar. A lot of those goods are not their inventions.
Yeah, but that long time thing about China inventing things now. China making things better than the world. You know, China have the best cars in the world right now.
Yeah.
The best cars in the world, right? They're selling the most cars in the world right now, China.
Yeah, but
the BYD.
But that too is an improvement of technology that exists. It's not originally Chinese, and that's what I'm saying.
I don't think the blade battery is an improvement.
I don't know anything about the blade battery, but from what I see, is that they can still, in this day, with the abundance of information and technology, take what you have, observe it, make something that you couldn't make out of it or better, and sell the same thing cheaper.
Exactly.
That is a phenomenon by itself. Good? And still to remain competitive. So we are, I saw a negotiation sign off in UGFW workers. It is on the
the 10%. Where Street say the 4% was I just had disrespect. But the thing is, all of that will come to nothing if we don't position ourselves to accept what is coming, right? Or to prepare for what's coming. Because what's coming, I don't like to preach doom and gloom, but what's coming is not going to be easy to deal with as a nation in terms of inflation. So, I mean, we really have to consider seriously the issues of, that was in the Express, yeah. Yeah, you really had to consider the issue of what is happening in the geopolitics, what is happening in the Middle East, and how it's going to affect us in Trinidad and Tobago in a significant way.
So we're seeing that back pay 252 million added to the wage bill, or 2.6 billion back pay, and that is daily rated workers, correct? Yeah.
40% of it will be paid in cash, and in the next 60% in non-cash agreements.
Okay, so then that'll go to cabinet, and then over here we have the teachers.
What is teacher saying? What are they saying?
They want their money. No.
They want wine out a stone.
Yeah, but listen to me, Steve. You can't have collective agreements. Let me get straight on a principle. I work, you pay. Correct?
Yeah.
If I work and you can't pay, we have a problem.
Right, but if you're a nation, listen, accounts work a certain kind of way.
Okay.
Every debit entry have a corresponding, every credit entry have a corresponding debit entry, right?
Right.
And if you're paying out and you're getting back, you have a problem. Right? So the problem in Trinidad and Tobago is bigger than this, because we don't print money like the US to be able to do them things. What we asking for in Trinidad and Tobago is magic. It don't work like that.
Explain.
Well, listen, you have to be able to earn the money, to pay the money, to get back the money. If you're home and you have if you're home, you have 5 children and you have a large demand, you have school and that kind, but your work's no way. How are you doing it? Huh? And that's what I'm saying.
Go further.
What I'm saying is, we have to find ways to earn money trying to be able to do them things what we want to do. And if we can't do that, those are expectations that will end up in problems somewhere along the road. Every time the wage will go up, we have to find recurrent income, fixed income somewhere. We can't be guessing. We have to find fixed income somewhere to be able to to be able to pay them thing every month, because that's recurrent expenditure. That's coming up every month. If you don't have money to pay it, you have problems. We don't print money in the same way like, say, America does. We're not a reserve currency. So at the end of the day, unless something change, something is about to change, and we know a lot of things are about to change. So we know where the money coming from, but that's another problem too. That's a problem of inflation. And that's something we have to think about too. Because you heard the caller earlier on talk about in the 70s, the price of a sweetie. It was getting 2 cents.
Yeah.
Right? Think about the inflation on that now. Where $1 you're paying $1 for 2. Think about the inflation. What's the margin of inflation there? Right? It's the same thing. It's the same way it works with all of this. If you have more money in the system, right, and you have more demand for goods and services, you'll end up with scarcity, and you'll end up with high prices for the items that has become scarce. Because you have more demand for it, because you have more money. And that demand will carry up prices. Basic economics. And that is inflation. So all of that is good, but then you will have to think about the value, what the value of your dollar will be now with inflation. What the value of your dollar will be it might be less than what the value of your dollar might be less than what exists now.
Yeah, but that can't be an argument against people. I think you're confusing two things.
No. Okay, go
Listen
ahead.
to the principle here.
People work and they need to get paid.
Simple.
Right, I understand that.
We will get to the productivity part. We have productivity issues. We
All
have
right.
measurement issues.
Okay.
All right?
All right, okay. No
But
problem.
can you run an organization on promising people pay for work?
No, listen. There comes a time when a government have to do certain things.
Right.
Right? If I run an organization, I wouldn't have so much people working if I know I'm not making any money to pay.
Okay.
So you understand where I'm going.
Right.
And a government has had to make certain decisions at some point in time.
Right.
At some point in time, that reality will hit them.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And that reality is what? What?
Retrenchment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a basic economics thing. If you're not producing nothing, you ain't making no money. You're depending on oil, the price of which might go up astronomically just now. But the price of other things will go up astronomically for the same reason why the price of oil gone up. Why the price of oil going up?
But that wouldn't be so for all the time, though.
Wouldn't be so for all the time, but the price of oil wouldn't be so for all the time neither.
Correct. So
right?
the boat will fall.
So when both fall,
they will both rise, they will both fall.
Right, but when both fall, the salary, the increased salary will remain the same.
So your bill
will remain higher.
Will remain higher.
Right. So what are you saying then?
Yeah,
how are you paying that?
Yeah,
you have a problem. You have a deficit problem.
But here where I will get you out of the problem.
Tell me. Productivity.
No, not just productivity. Because the measurement of that for me is very complicated, especially in non-income generating sectors.
Okay.
So places like teachers, I don't know how you quantify that. Because that sector...
It have a way to quantify it, and it have analytics for all of that.
All right, good.
Right? And I can tell you about some. I mean, in the program, we don't have time to do that now. But it have analytics for all of that.
But here's where I'm going. You have to eliminate the system of paying for work past, and that is the elephant in the room.
Well, we had to fix the collective agreement, collective bargaining systems.
Right, and that is what is causing the constant going forward and
but
having
think about
to go
it.
back.
But think about it. Anyway, I mean, I don't want this song like...
So let me tell you what I am I seeing a caller?
Yeah, take it now.
Okay. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just I was thinking on in a while ago while I was on the phone kind of thing. But since we're dealing with economic health, we are going to have an importation of inflation. That is what this government is going to get. An importation of inflation. Because Minister of Energy is telling us, yes, I'm going to get a nice increase in revenue just now. But the cost of gasoline is now $4 a liter. And we purchase gasoline to come here just like how... And don't tell me about if the refinery was running, because a barrel of oil now is $111, and possibly, as you just outlined, might go to $150. So if we import in oil to lose $7 or $8 on a barrel, US dollars, and the price keep going up, we're still losing. So Petrotrin ain't making no. So I want to know, with this deduction that they now take away $1 off a gas the full week and the increase, is it that the little returns that we're going to get extra is now going to be subsidized on the cost of fuel that we... You understand my point, gentlemen? Yes. Because not only that, if dieseline goes up, dieseline in America is 30 cents away from being its highest it has been in decades. If that gets to that point, that means if I buy a ton load of fridge in Florida and I have to drive it to Miami to put it on a container home to Trinidad, and the ship using same fuel, that means the cost of that shipment to Trinidad is going to increase. That means the cost of the TV or the fridge are going and sell. We ain't talking about food yet. That is just appliances that we use, fridge, stove, TV, bed. We didn't talk about food price, because if you look at America and you look at the cost of food in America, that's why Trump going every morning to tell them that that's not the war is going to end in the next 5 weeks. You know how he keeps singing that song in order to keep the market at a certain level.
Confidence. But when the market see you're not making no sense, as what happened last week, the price of oil will go back up again.
Continue to go back up. So here we tell them now, all who want oil in the street, all they want to get all they sell. Because they produce, they could actually sell oil. America is one of the largest oil producers right now, right?
Yes.
All right. So gentlemen, enjoy the evening.
So, thank you, caller. So we're coming down to, we're closing. So Senior Matheson, you can take us out. We have about just under 2 minutes.
Right. So this was another day where we were able to bring some of the issues to you. As usual, this is a cricket show. And you know, one of the things we haven't done a lot is to analyze the bowling side. Right? We kind of do it subliminally, but we don't do it in the way we had originally started doing it. Mm-hmm. Right? But we have to start to analyze the bowling side. We talk a lot about the batting side, and obviously the batting side is batting, and that's the side you will be focused on. But we have to start to analyze the bowling side also. Today was one of those days again where we discuss a number of issues that emanates from, we break down a lot of issues that comes out of the news, both internationally and locally. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, where we can continue doing that, and you continue engaging us. What I would usually ask, because there seems to be a problem on the transmission side. Those of you who are listening to us on the live, maybe you could share the live, so more people will be able to benefit from these kind of conversations. And just share the live. If you share the live, clearly more people will be here and more people will be able to participate in the conversation. And of course, you can get us on the number that we gave you, 342-0081 and 466-5391.
So after tomorrow, there's a long weekend.
Yes.
Friday, a holiday.
Very long weekend.
The land of holidays.
This is the land of holidays. And we complain about all kind of things.
Yeah.
Productivity and that kind of thing.
Because we haven't gone to work in the snow.
Half the time we home.
We haven't gone to
holidays.
work in the snow.
But I am happy. I welcome the holidays. I have work to do,
yes.
and I get to do it on those holidays.
Yes, yes. Well deserved. Join us tomorrow for more on the Third Empire.
Yes.
Nature's Touch Massage Therapy and Nutrition and Nature's Touch Youth Health Caravan invites you to join us live on the Street 919 FM every second and fourth Friday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We are located at number 3, 7th Avenue North via the Eastern Main Road, Barataria. For further information, please call or WhatsApp the numbers 398-8282 or our office numbers 241-7568 and 310-8671. Remember, at Nature's Touch, your health is our responsibility.
What are you doing? Big D, big fun, KFC, so we big on the ground. The nation, cause you don't know we ready crown.
It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Come to KFC, let we all have fun, and let we join together because KFC is life. It's a big deal.
Say what you want, KFC, so we lead in front. We are big nation, TNT and KFC, one motion.
Big deal.
Tech TechFlex TT Limited, the #1 computer store in Trinidad and Tobago, has all your tech needs. We have the latest computers, powerful MacBooks, and affordable Chromebooks for school and work, providing new and refurbished options to suit everyone's budget. Also, we carry a variety of printer options and ink solutions for your home and office needs. Need repairs done? Our experienced technicians can solve your tech problems. Visit us now at any of our 2 locations, Wilson Road, Scarborough, next to Royal Castle, or Penco Street, Montrose, Chagonas. Call 235-4919 for more info. TechFlex TT Limited. Affordable tech. Exceptional service.
When you want real chicken, you know it have only one original. More chicken, more value, more deals. Every day, every time, every craving. This is not just food, this is flavor. So when hunger calls, it must be KFC. Visit us today or order now via app, call, website, delivery, or drive-through. And follow KFC Trinidad and Tobago WhatsApp channel for all the deals. Midweek, we got you. Sandwich Wednesdays, 2 KFC sandwiches for just $50.